Ever since 1987, Final Fantasy has been providing RPG fans with games with a deep story, lovable characters, and gameplay that managed to evolve with the technological improvements we've seen in the past decades. As one of the best-selling video game franchises of all time, every new Final Fantasy game comes with great expectations, and Final Fantasy XVI is no exception. Welcome to the Leaderboard. Today we'll be taking a look at everything you need to know about Final Fantasy XVI. First of all, let's talk about the setting and story for this new RPG. As in most previous games in the franchise, Final Fantasy XVI comes with a deep story, filled with political turmoil, betrayals, and powerful magical entities. The game is set in Valisthea, a region split between the two continents of Ash and Storm. Across all of Valisthea are gigantic mountains of crystal called Mother Crystals, providing aether to the inhabitants of this land who use it to conjure magics. Long before the events of Final Fantasy XVI, humans managed to use the powers of Mother Crystals to leave the ground and build cities in the sky. However, about 1500 years before the events of the game, something happened to this advanced civilization that caused the cities to fall from the sky. Remnants of this ancient civilization, now called the Fallen, can be found all across Valisthea, with most inhabitants believing the Fallen to be legend. After the fall of the Sky Civilization, the power from the Mother Crystals drew humans to build settlements near them, which eventually turned into cities and now realms. The eastern continent of Valisthea, Ash, is home to the Grand Duchy of Rosaria, the Holy Empire of Sambrek, and the Kingdom of Wallowed, while the western continent of Storm houses the Dhalmekian Republic and the Iron Kingdom. The autonomous island of Crystalline Dominion sits between both continents. On top of each having their own Mother Crystal to take their aether from, each realm houses a unique individual called a Dominant. The Dominants are people born with the ability to host icons, the most powerful creatures in Valisthea, and channel their deadly powers even with no crystal around them. More on that later, but for now, just remember that each realm has its own Dominant and icon. Despite having different stories and political forces, all the realms of Valisthea manage to keep an uneasy peace. That is, until the events of Final Fantasy XVI. Tension rises between the realms as the power from the Mother Crystals is depleting. An infection called the Blight causes the death of all plants, and realms begin to fight over the few remaining resources scattered across Valisthea. Final Fantasy XVI follows the story of Clive Rosfield, the first son of the Archduke of the Grand Duchy of Rosaria. His younger brother Joshua is the Dominant of the Icon of Fire, Phoenix. Clive becomes the first Shield of Rosaria, tasked to protect his younger brother and blessed by the power to use part of Phoenix's power. One day, another Icon of Fire appears, Ifrit, and that's not supposed to happen. Each icon has an affinity with a specific element, and Phoenix is already the Icon of Fire. Anyway, Ifrit is here and wreaks havoc upon Rosaria. Clive embarks on a vengeful journey across Valisthea to track down Ifrit and stop this dark icon. Besides Clive and Joshua, there are plenty of other characters to meet in Final Fantasy XVI, including the boy's childhood friend Jill Warwick, and a cute wolf named Torgal that was raised by the Rosfield family ever since it was a puppy. And yes, you can pet Torgal. Now that we talked about the setting and story, let's take a look at Final Fantasy XVI's gameplay. As in all previous entries in the franchise, the battle system is at the core of Final Fantasy XVI. Clive can fight his way through Valisthea with his weapon and channel the power of up to 3 different icons. He can also use spells and have his faithful companion Torgal help in battle, as well as other AI-controlled party members. According to the development team, Final Fantasy XVI is the series' first true action RPG, allowing players to combine various options ranging from melee attacks to magic powers and dodges. Various accessibility options are available so that all players can equally enjoy beating up rival icons. The combat director of Final Fantasy XVI, Ryota Suzuki, previously worked on Devil May Cry 5 and Dragon's Dogma. He joins an all-star development team with experience working on previous Final Fantasy installments ranging from 1992's Final Fantasy V to the highly popular MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV. One of the reasons behind Final Fantasy XVI's hype is its development team, which features key members from the Final Fantasy XIV team, including producer Naoki Yoshida, creative director Kazutoya Maehiro, localization director Michael Christopher Koji Fox, art director Hiroshi Minagawa, character designer Kazuya Takahashi, and composer Masayoshi Soken. This core team turned Final Fantasy XIV from a commercial failure to one of the most popular MMORPGs of the past few decades. Hiroshi Takai, assistant director on Final Fantasy XIV's first expansion, and development supervisor for 2017's Stormblood expansion, is the main director of Final Fantasy XVI. As most of the development team previously worked together on Final Fantasy XIV and turned this game into the most profitable Final Fantasy series game to date, expectations are high for 16. Last but not least, when can you play Final Fantasy XVI and on which platform? Final Fantasy XVI is set to release on June 22nd, exclusively on the PlayStation 5 for now. Those playing on another platform will have to wait at least 6 more months before playing Final Fantasy XVI, as the game is a timed exclusive with a Windows version planned with no official release date. While there is no mention of Final Fantasy XVI ever releasing on Xbox or Nintendo Switch, Square Enix could announce more ports of its RPG in the upcoming months. If you're not yet sure whether Final Fantasy XVI is a fit for you, you can get a free demo on the PlayStation 5 to discover the first moments of this new story. That wraps up everything you need to know about Final Fantasy XVI. Before you're off to discover Valisthea, hit the like button, and make sure to subscribe to the Leaderboard for more news about your favorite games.